Have you ever sat in a doctor's waiting room, feeling your heart beat a little faster, your hands slightly cold, and your thoughts quietly asking, "Am I okay?" In that silent moment, it can feel like you are alone with your fear, but you are not alone, and you never were.
Yes, I know that feeling very well. It's a strange mix of uncertainty and quiet worry, like you're waiting for answers, but you don't know what those answers will be. And in those moments, even your own breathing can feel louder than usual.
And yet, there is something important you should know. Visiting a doctor is not a moment of weakness, it is a moment of courage, a moment where you choose to listen to your body and care for yourself. It is one of the most human things you can do.
I've never thought about it that way before. Calling it courage makes it feel different. It makes the experience feel less frightening and more like a step toward understanding and healing.
Today, we're going to walk through that experience together, slowly, gently, and safely, like two people having a quiet conversation, helping each other feel understood. And as you listen, you may begin to notice something inside you changing, a small sense of calm, a quiet sense of confidence beginning to grow. Hello, Tom. I'm really glad you're here today with me. I know that visiting a doctor or even talking about it can sometimes make people feel a little nervous inside, so I want you to just take a slow breath and relax with me. You're in a safe space here, and we can talk about it slowly, step by step.
Thank you, Emma. That already makes me feel a bit calmer. To be honest, I do feel nervous when I think about going to the doctor, especially when I don't know what they will say. Sometimes my mind starts imagining problems that may not even be real.
I understand that feeling very well, Tom, and you're not alone in this. Many people feel that quiet fear, that little tension in their chest before they visit a doctor, especially when their body feels different than usual. But talking about it, like you're doing now, is already a very strong and healthy step.
Yes, I think the hardest moment for me is when I sit in the waiting room. Everything feels so quiet, and I can hear my own heartbeat, and I start wondering, what if something is wrong with me? It's strange how silence can make thoughts louder.
That's such a real and honest feeling you just described. Waiting rooms have that still, quiet energy, and sometimes our thoughts begin to move faster than usual, almost like they're trying to protect us. But often, the doctor is simply there to listen and help, not to bring fear.
Emma, can I ask you something? What should I say first when I enter the doctor's room? Because sometimes I don't know how to begin, and I feel awkward standing there.
That's a very good question, Tom, and it's completely okay to feel unsure. Usually, you can start with something simple and natural, like, "Hello, doctor, I haven't been feeling well lately," and then slowly explain your symptoms. Doctors are trained to listen carefully, so you don't need to rush or use perfect words.
Oh, hearing that makes it feel easier already. I always thought I needed to explain everything perfectly, but maybe it's okay to speak slowly and just be honest about how I feel. That makes the situation feel more human and less scary.
Yes, exactly, Tom. It's not about perfect words, it's about honest feelings. Even saying something like, "I feel tired," or "I have pain here," while gently showing the place on your body, is more than enough to begin. The doctor will guide you with questions, and you can answer at your own pace.
I remember one time I told the doctor, I feel weak these days, and he looked at me with calm eyes and asked simple questions. His voice was slow and kind, and that made me feel safe, like he really cared about helping me.
That sounds like a very supportive doctor, Tom, and those calm, kind voices can make such a big difference. When someone listens without rushing you, your body naturally begins to relax and your breathing becomes softer. It reminds you that you're not alone in that moment.
Yes. And I noticed something interesting. When I spoke honestly, my nervous feeling became smaller. It didn't disappear completely, but it became quieter, like it moved to the background. That surprised me a little.
That makes perfect sense, Tom, because when we express our worries out loud, they lose some of their power over us. Keeping fears inside can make them grow, but sharing them gently allows your mind to rest. It's like opening a window and letting fresh air enter.
Emma, what if the doctor asks, "How long have you had this problem?" Sometimes I don't remember exactly, and I worry that I might give the wrong answer.
That's completely okay, Tom. You don't need to remember the exact day or time. You can say something like, I think it started about a week ago, or I noticed it a few days ago, and that is enough. Doctors understand that memories are not always perfect, and they care more about the general feeling and timeline.
I see. So it's more about sharing honestly than being exact. That removes a lot of pressure from my mind because I always thought I needed to be very precise. Now it feels more like a normal conversation, not a test.
Yes, that's a beautiful way to see it, Tom. It truly is just a conversation between two humans. One person is asking for help, and the other person is there to offer care and guidance. There is no judgment in that space, only support.
Sometimes I also feel unsure when the doctor starts writing notes while I'm talking. I wonder what they are thinking, and it makes me feel a little self-conscious, like maybe I said something wrong.
Oh, that's such a common feeling, and I want you to know it's completely normal. When doctors write notes, they are simply recording information so they can understand your condition better and remember important details. It's actually a sign that they are paying attention to you carefully.
That's comforting to hear, because I always imagined it meant something serious. But now I realize it's just part of their process, part of how they care for their patients. That changes how I see that moment.
Yes, and you know, Tom, you can even ask questions if you feel unsure. You can say gently, Doctor, may I ask what you think about my condition? And that opens a calm and honest conversation. Your voice matters in that room.
I like that idea. Asking questions makes me feel more involved, not just silent and worried. It gives me a sense of control, and that makes my heart feel more steady.
Exactly. When you ask questions, you become an active part of your own care. It builds confidence slowly, like small steps forward, and each step makes the next one easier. You begin to trust yourself more.
Emma, I'm starting to realize that visiting the doctor doesn't have to be a frightening experience. It can be a calm conversation where I explain my feelings and listen carefully. That thought alone makes my chest feel lighter, like I can breathe more freely.
I'm really glad you feel that shift inside you, Tom, that gentle change in how you see the experience. Sometimes fear comes from the unknown, but when we understand the process, it becomes more familiar, more human. And when you walk into that room next time, you might notice yourself feeling just a little more calm, just a little more ready to speak. And when you notice that calm inside you, even if it's small, you can hold onto it like something warm in your hands. You don't need to force confidence. You just allow it to grow slowly, naturally, with each experience. Your body and mind learn that you are safe, and that realization can be very powerful.
I like the way you said that. Allow it to grow slowly. I think sometimes I try to be brave too quickly, and when I can't, I feel disappointed in myself. But maybe it's okay to become confident step by step, without pressure.
Yes, it's more than okay, Tom. It's actually the healthiest way to grow. Real confidence doesn't arrive suddenly. It builds quietly through small moments where you face something gently and survive it. Even sitting in the doctor's room and speaking one honest sentence is already a strong step.
I remember last month, the doctor asked me, "Can you describe your pain?" And for a moment, my mind went blank. I didn't know the right words and I felt embarrassed, like I wasn't doing it correctly.
Oh, that moment can feel very vulnerable, Tom. When someone asks you to explain something so personal, and your mind needs time to find the words. But it's perfectly fine to pause and say, it feels like a dull pain, or it comes and goes. even if the description is simple. Your honest feeling is more important than perfect language.
I think I often forget that simple words are enough. I try to sound more clear or more exact, but that pressure makes me more nervous. When I speak simply, I feel more like myself.
That's a beautiful realization, Tom, because your natural voice is always enough. Doctors don't expect perfect descriptions. They expect real human experiences, spoken in your own way. And when you allow yourself to speak naturally, your nervous system begins to relax.
Emma, what about when the doctor checks my body, like listening to my heartbeat or checking my blood pressure? I sometimes feel tense, and I worry that my nervousness will affect the result.
That's a very thoughtful question, Tom, and it shows how aware you are of your body. It's true that nervousness can make your heart beat faster, but doctors understand this very well, and they often help you relax before checking. You can take slow breaths and remind yourself that this is a safe and normal process.
Slow breaths. Yes. I've noticed that when I breathe slowly, my shoulders drop a little, and my chest feels less tight. It's like my body receives a quiet message that everything is okay.
Exactly. Your breath is like a gentle bridge between your mind and your body. When you slow your breathing, you send a signal of safety, and your heart responds by calming down. Even one slow breath can begin to change how you feel.
I never realized how much power breathing has. It's something we do all the time, but we rarely notice it. In those nervous moments, it becomes something very important, something that helps me stay present.
Yes, and being present helps you stay connected to reality instead of getting lost in fearful thoughts. You begin to notice the room, the calm voice of the doctor, the steady ground beneath your feet. These small details remind you that you are safe in that moment.
Emma, sometimes the doctor asks about my daily habits, like my sleep, my eating, and my stress. I feel a little shy talking about those personal things, especially stress, because it feels emotional.
That's completely understandable, Tom. Talking about personal habits and stress can feel very intimate, but doctors ask those questions because they want to understand your whole life, not just your symptoms. Your emotional health and physical health are deeply connected.
Yes, when I think about it, my body does feel different when I'm stressed. My energy becomes lower, and sometimes I feel tension in my muscles. It's like my body is carrying invisible weight.
That's such an honest observation, Tom, and it shows how deeply you are listening to yourself. Stress can quietly affect the body, and sharing that truth with your doctor helps them support you better. It allows them to see the full picture of your experience.
I think I'm beginning to see the doctor not as someone to fear, but as someone who is there to understand me. That shift in thinking makes the experience feel less cold and more human, more supportive.
Yes, that's such an important shift, Tom, because when you see the doctor as a partner in your health, not an authority to fear, everything feels different. The room feels less intimidating, and your voice feels more welcome.
Emma, what if the doctor gives advice, like telling me to rest more or change my routine? Sometimes I feel unsure if I can follow everything perfectly, and I worry about disappointing them.
Oh, it's completely okay to feel that way, Tom, and you don't need to be perfect. Doctors give guidance to help you, but they understand that change takes time and patience. Even small improvements, like sleeping a little earlier or drinking more water, are meaningful steps forward.
That makes me feel less pressure because perfection always feels heavy, but small steps feel possible. It feels kinder, like giving myself permission to grow slowly.
Yes, that's such an important shift, Tom, because when you see the doctor as a partner in your health, not an authority to fear, everything feels different. The room feels less intimidating, and your voice feels more welcome.
Emma, what if the doctor gives advice, like telling me to rest more or change my routine? Sometimes I feel unsure if I can follow everything perfectly, and I worry about disappointing them.
Oh, it's completely okay to feel that way, Tom, and you don't need to be perfect. Doctors give guidance to help you, but they understand that change takes time and patience. Even small improvements like sleeping a little earlier or drinking more water are meaningful steps forward.
That makes me feel less pressure because perfection always feels heavy, but small steps feel possible. It feels kinder, like giving myself permission to grow slowly.
Yes, kindness toward yourself is a very important part of healing. Your body responds better when you treat yourself with patience, not criticism. Healing is not a race, it's a gentle journey.
Emma, I'm noticing something right now. As we talk about this, my fear is not as strong as before. It's still there, but it feels quieter, like it's sitting far away instead of right next to me.
That's a beautiful awareness, Tom, and it shows how powerful calm conversation can be. When you bring your fears into the light, they often become softer, less overwhelming. You begin to realize that you are stronger than the fear itself.
I wonder, the next time I walk into a doctor's office, maybe I'll remember this conversation. Maybe I'll remember to breathe slowly, to speak honestly, and to remind myself that I don't have to be perfect. I just have to be present and allow myself to...
Allow yourself to simply exist in that moment, without pressure, without judgment. You don't need to perform or prove anything, Tom. You just need to show up as yourself, with honesty and gentleness. That alone is enough to begin a meaningful and supportive conversation with your doctor.
When you say it like that, it feels much more peaceful inside my mind. I think I've been carrying this invisible pressure to be the perfect patient, someone who explains everything clearly and never feels afraid. But now I see it's okay to be human, to feel unsure, and to take my time.
Yes, being human means feeling uncertainty sometimes, and there is nothing wrong with that. Doctors meet people in all emotional states, calm, nervous, confused, and they are there to support each one with care. You don't need to hide your feelings because your feelings are part of your experience.
I remember one moment when the doctor asked, "Are you feeling stressed lately?" And I hesitated. I didn't know if I should be honest because stress feels like something invisible, something difficult to explain with words.
That hesitation makes so much sense, Tom, because stress lives quietly inside us, and sometimes we don't fully understand it ourselves. But even saying something simple, like, "Yes, I've been feeling more stressed than usual," opens the door for support. You don't need to explain everything at once.
Yes, I think I was afraid that admitting stress would make me look weak. But now I'm starting to realize that honesty is not weakness, it's actually strength, because it allows real help to enter my life.
That's such a powerful realization, Tom. Honesty creates connection, and connection creates healing. When you allow yourself to be open, you give others the chance to understand you, not just your symptoms, but your whole experience as a person.
Curious. Emma, sometimes the doctor uses medical words that I don't fully understand. In those moments, I feel shy asking them to explain again because I don't want to seem slow or difficult.
Oh, please remember, Tom, you always have the right to ask for clarity. You can say something like, "Doctor, could you please explain that in a simpler way?" And that is completely okay. Your understanding is important, and doctors want you to feel informed and comfortable.
That makes me feel more confident already, because sometimes confusion creates silent fear. But asking questions brings light into that confusion, and suddenly everything feels more manageable.
Yes, questions are not a sign of weakness. They are a sign of care for yourself. They show that you are actively participating in your own health journey. And each time you ask a question, your confidence grows a little more.
I can imagine myself sitting there, listening carefully, and asking gently when I need clarity. That image feels calm, not frightening. It feels like I am part of the process, not just a passive observer.
Exactly. You are not powerless in that room, Tom. You are an important voice in the conversation. Your experiences, your feelings, and your questions all matter deeply. When you remember that, the space becomes more balanced and less intimidating.
Emma, I also notice that sometimes the doctor smiles gently, and that small gesture makes me feel more at ease. It's amazing how something so simple can change my emotional state.
Yes, a gentle smile carries a quiet message of safety and kindness. Our nervous system responds to those signals, and we begin to relax without even realizing it. Human connection has a powerful calming effect.
I think I've been focusing too much on my fear and not enough on those small moments of kindness. When I remember those moments, the whole experience feels softer, less cold.
That's a beautiful shift in awareness, Tom, because what we focus on often shapes how we feel. When you notice kindness, your mind begins to associate the doctor's office with support instead of fear. Over time, that emotional memory becomes stronger.
I'm starting to feel something new. Not complete confidence yet, but something close to it. Maybe it's trust. Trust that I can handle the situation, and trust that I'm not alone there.
Yes, trust grows quietly, just like that. It doesn't arrive suddenly, but it builds through gentle experiences and honest moments. And each time you face that environment with openness, your inner strength becomes more stable.
I imagine myself walking into the clinic again, the door opening slowly, the quiet room, the soft sounds around me. But this time, I also imagine myself breathing calmly, feeling my feet on the ground, and reminding myself that I am safe, that I am capable of speaking and being heard, and that I can move forward one small step at a time, allowing my voice to.
Allow your voice to come out naturally, without forcing it, without rushing it. You can let each word arrive slowly, just as you feel it inside, and trust that it will be enough. There is no need to hurry because your experience deserves patience and care.
That image feels very calming to me. I can almost see myself sitting there, my hands resting quietly, my breathing slow and steady. It feels different from before, like I'm no longer trying to escape the moment, but instead, I'm allowing myself to stay.
Yes, staying present is a very powerful thing, Tom. When you stop fighting the moment, your body begins to release tension naturally, and your thoughts become clearer. You begin to realize that the situation is not your enemy, it's simply a space where healing can begin.
I never thought about it like that. A space where healing can begin. Before, I only saw it as a place of bad news or uncomfortable feelings, but now it feels more like a place where I can understand myself better.
That's such an important shift inside you. When fear changes into understanding, your whole emotional experience becomes softer and more manageable. You begin to walk into that room not with dread, but with quiet courage.
Emma, sometimes before entering, I notice my hands feel a little cold. It's like my body reacts before my mind can calm it down. In those moments, I feel disconnected from my sense of control.
That's a very natural physical response, Tom. Your nervous system is trying to protect you, even if there is no real danger. You can gently place your hands together or rest them on your legs and take one slow breath. That simple action can remind your body that you are safe.
I like that idea. Placing my hands together feels grounding, like I'm holding myself steady. It's such a small movement, but it creates a feeling of stability inside me. It makes me feel less scattered.
Yes, grounding yourself in small physical ways can bring your awareness back to the present moment. Your body and mind begin to reconnect, and that sense of balance returns slowly. It's like coming home to yourself.
Emma, what if the doctor gives me time to speak, but I still feel nervous and forget some things I wanted to say?
That has happened before, and afterward I felt frustrated with myself.
That happens to many people, Tom, and it's completely okay. You can take your time, pause, and even say, "Let me think for a moment," and gather your thoughts slowly. Doctors are patient, and they understand that nervousness can affect memory.
Giving myself permission to pause, that feels very kind. I often expect myself to speak perfectly without hesitation, but that expectation only makes me more tense. Allowing pauses feels more natural.
Yes, pauses are not mistakes. They are part of real human communication. They give your mind time to breathe and your emotions time to settle. In those pauses, you reconnect with your calm center.
I'm beginning to see pauses differently now, not as silence filled with fear, but as silence filled with possibility. It's like a small space where I can find my words again.
That's beautifully said, Tom. Pauses can be gentle spaces where clarity returns. When you stop resisting silence, it becomes your ally instead of your enemy. It supports you rather than pressures you.
Totally. Emma, I also notice that when the doctor listens without interrupting, it makes me feel respected. That feeling gives me confidence to continue speaking. It's like my voice matters in that moment.
Your voice does matter, Tom, deeply and completely. Being heard is one of the most important human needs, and when someone listens with care, it creates emotional safety. That safety allows you to open up more naturally.
I think that emotional safety is what I've been missing in my imagination. I always imagined the doctor as distant, but now I can imagine them as present, listening, and supportive. That changes everything inside me.
Yes, your imagination shapes your emotional reality. When you begin to imagine supportive outcomes instead of fearful ones, your body responds with calm instead of tension. Your nervous system learns a new pattern of trust.
I can feel that change happening slowly inside me right now. It's not dramatic, but it's real. There's less resistance in my chest and more openness, more willingness to face the experience gently.
That openness is a sign of your inner strength growing. You're not forcing yourself, you're allowing yourself, and that makes all the difference. True courage feels quiet and steady, not loud and sudden.
I imagined the doctor asking, "How have you been feeling lately?" And this time, instead of freezing, I imagined myself taking a slow breath, feeling my feet on the floor, and answering honestly in my own natural voice, allowing the words to come one by one, without fear, without pressure, simply trusting that I am safe enough to.
Safe enough to speak in your own time, without rushing yourself, without judging yourself. You can let your voice move slowly, just like your breath, steady and calm. And in that moment, you may notice that the fear is no longer controlling you. It's simply passing through you.
That feels comforting to imagine. It's like I'm no longer fighting the moment, but standing inside it with quiet acceptance. I can feel a small sense of confidence growing, even if it's still new and fragile.
That's how real confidence begins, Tom. Not as something loud or dramatic, but as something quiet and steady. It grows in gentle moments where you choose to stay present instead of running away. And each time you allow yourself to face the experience calmly, that confidence becomes a little stronger.
I can see that now. It's not about becoming fearless. It's about trusting myself, even when I feel nervous. That trust makes the experience feel less overwhelming and more manageable. It gives me space to breathe and exist without pressure.
Yes, and as you continue forward, you can carry that calm awareness with you, like a quiet companion beside you. You don't need to force anything or change yourself suddenly. You simply allow yourself to move forward gently, knowing that you are capable of handling each moment as it comes, and that quiet strength within you will continue to.